Do you believe in fate? Yeah. Do you believe in fate, Cocoro?
Your future concerning love won't be very good. You can...
I forgot, I got a deep voice, sorry. Your future concerning love won't be very good.
Hattori's hand had changed to that of Uni. No, that's wrong. Uni was holding my hand and fixedly gazing at the palm. What are you doing, Uni?
Stupid Satoru.
Huh? Looking at me as I inclined my head at him, Uni suddenly got upset.
Come on, didn't I say I would read your palm?
To Satoru?
Who else?
That's Satoru. I don't dislike fortune-telling. When they do the fortune-telling countdown in the morning news, I can unconsciously watch it. Girls are like that. But I thought Satoru would be the type who opposes divination. He definitely seems like the kind of person who complains saying stuff like, "Where's the scientific proof?" So I was a little surprised. Uni took a hard look at my face.
Maybe Cocoro came back.
Yep. His eyes wide, while carefully observing my expression, he said,
I see. Oh, hey, can I continue the fortune-telling? Feels bad stopping my midway.
Oh well. Oh, wait a moment. First I have to confirm the time. As I thought, the wristwatch isn't here. Yet again, he removed the wristwatch from my right arm. Where is it this time? I checked my pocket. Not here. Letter of the bunk bed. Not here. Turning my head around to survey the place. Found it. Stuffed teddy bear on the chair. The watch was wrapped around the neck of the plush toy. Take it off and put it back on my wrist. Damn it. Next time I'll definitely tell him a thing or two. It's 2:28. Hey.
Hey, Cocoro.
Coming. Palm reading, right?
Yeah, can I go on?
Tell him to try reading Maze News. I didn't do the palm reading, yeah. I thought that now wasn't the time for something so easygoing, but I reflexively nodded at Uni's eager expression. Then please go ahead.
Okay.
Uni scanned the palm of my hand.
As I thought, Cocoro, your future concerning love won't be very good. Marriage may be far away.
Really?
Yeah, if you look at the fat line,
What? Are you calling me fat?
Yes, I am. Fat with greatness. Especially around the back area.
What? You pervert.
Yep, if you look at the fat line,
God damn it, I said it again.
Look at the fate line, you'll be able to foretell the marriage.
But how old will I be when I get married?
In your early 40s.
Are you kidding me? That was pretty hard to hear. Though it's the fortune telling of an amateur. Being told something like this, that something yourself is quite a shock. Pushing up his glasses, he continued. But this year, you may meet your predestined one. If you treasure that encounter, marriage will come earlier, maybe. What was that? That maybe? It's not nice to make fun of an adult by saying such vague things. Uni's expression quickly turned meek.
Cocoro, what do you think fortune-telling is?
Somehow he almost seemed about to launch into a sermon. What is it all of a sudden?
Whatever, just answer.
Well, it's an occultish thing. Something like invoking an oracle from the gods. Uni nodded in agreement.
Well, it's sort of like that too. However, palmistry and astrology, among other things, are also different. Both work on statistics.
Statistics?
I'm not so great with scientific discussions. Just looking at numbers lined up, I get cross-eyed.
For example, in phrenology, which I am going to look up, because I have no idea what that is. Phrenology. Divination method supposed to be able to foretell a person's character and destiny based on examination of their cranial structure and facial features. Viewed as a serious school of scientific thoughts during the Victorian era, but has since been disproved and is now viewed as quack medical practice. So it's basically just hand reading and stuff like that. For example, in phrenology, they say people with lots of wrinkles in their forehead will become rich. As a conclusion drawn from the finding that when examining rich people, we see that many have lots of wrinkles on their foreheads. Lambros and anthropological criminology is something similar. Going to look this up as well, because why not? Lombroso? Italian anatomist believed that the different types of crimes committed by each criminal corresponded to specific physical traits also had an interest in different types of criminals, which is now remembered as the source of modern criminology. However, his theories are now thought to be incorrect.
Well, Lombroso was a big lie, though.
Well, wait a minute. Who the heck is Lombroso? Just read the tips, Cocoro, you know, in the menu. You know, the menu. Oh, wait, no, you're in the game. You can't access it. All turned to gibberish now. Why does the child know so much about stuff like that? I pressed my hands to my temples. Somehow I could feel a headache coming on.
What's wrong?
No, I want you to speak more in Japanese. But I simply couldn't tell this to my child and opponent. Nothing. Please continue.
You're strange, Cocoro.
So
where was I?
London Boots.
Yeah?
It wasn't Lombroso, yeah?
Danger, danger.
I wiped away my cold sweat.
Alright. Lombroso was a phony, but phrenology is a proper credibility. The number of sampling is in a completely different league. Palmistry and astrology are the same. Great collections of data accumulated over thousands of years. See, you understand why I said statistics?
I see. When I think of typical fortune telling, no matter how I look at it, it has a somewhat shady image to me. But if you believe Uni's words, even fortune telling has a scientific basis.
So do you believe me now?
I understand that there is a credibility in palm reading, but whether or not Uni can really predict these things, that's really matter.
How cruel.
Well, god damn it, that's weird. Come on, I don't really want to believe I don't want to believe I'll marry late. Though repounded, I immediately began to grin boldly. Somehow it seems like the glasses are shiny. That sound effect.
Well then, I'll predict something else. My prediction will come true, absolutely.
With the face that seemed a bit serious, Uni glanced at my palm. Doesn't seem like he'll let go until he's done with fortune telling.
Look at the lifeline here, Cocoro. Well, at age 20, have a great incident.
Doubt it! I lightly prodded Uni's forehead.
Oh, what are you doing?
Aren't I in the middle of that incident right now? Isn't it the plane crash? Uni's a faker after all.
That's not it. That showed up in the palm reading too. Dishonesty
isn't good.
Ooh.
All his face wrapped with annoyance. Warped with annoyance. Uni tightened his grip of my hand. Suddenly his look turned serious.
Cocoro will soon see a corpse.
Eh? An unusually grave tone, I was surprised. If it's about corpses, I already saw them. At that gruesome crash site. I thought he was referring to that, but I was wrong.
A dead body stabbed with a knife. Oh god, I knew that knife would come in.
It's gonna be Meizumi, right? I want Meizumi to die. Though Meizumi's probably gonna turn all psycho, and Yamagi's probably gonna die. God damn it. I don't think Uni's gonna die. What's he saying, this kid? I took a hard look at the eyes of the child in front of me. Uni's full round eyes were clear, and so deep I felt like I was being sucked into them. I forgot to even breathe.
Be careful.
Uni's words, it came to my senses. Eh?
If not, Cocoro too will be stabbed.
It was a tone that was neither serious nor joking. Stop it, I don't like these kind of jokes.
This is no joke.
Uni softly caressed the surface of my hand.
This is a prediction. My predictions, they often come true.
Sometimes this kid becomes very kind of scary. When you think he's just playing innocent playing with his teddy bear, all of a sudden he'll say with a grown-up face things that make you shiver. I felt an imbalance of conflicting things coexisting. Behind this neutral face, I wonder what kind of real nature he's hiding. Distant from my doubts, Uni sweetly smiled. A carefree smile that of a child.
I'm glad I could tell you this to Cocoro. Even if I tell Satoru, it might be useless.
Should I trust this smiling face? Swallowing my rising anxiety, I tried to ask about something else. Say, did you see it before? The moment Satoru and I switched? What was it like?
Boring. You just went silent for a moment, or so I thought, and then suddenly you changed tone. If your eyes flashed or something, that would have been so cool.
How easygoing that boy. At the moment of transfer, it seems no particular change happens to me on the outside. This too is similar to the personalities of a DID patient switching. That's right, speaking of DID, I remembered a Tori. She was talking to me through writing, but when her personality changes took place... Before I forgot, I thought I should check through Inibushi's file. Thanks for the fortune telling. Just in case, I think Uni had stood up. I took the Unibushi file Yumurigi had retrieved and sat down in the wooden chair. Once again, I opened the file I had looked over many times. Now looking at this again. Psychiatric examination results. I just realized we're only at like 60% through the whole thing, maybe even 50%. And I'm guessing that other 50% is if he tries doing it to Maizumi. So I'm actually happy that that's actually a pretty long bit. So I can't wait to go back to that. Inibushi Kaiko, currently age 19. She's the serial killer who at age 17 murdered 12 innocent people at Maizumi Municipal Hospital. However, due to being diagnosed with DID, she escaped capital punishment and was sent to Sphere. Inibushi Kaiko had rewritten the history of crime in Japan in many different ways. Her case marked the largest number of lives ever taken by a serial killer who was a minor. And in the history of crime in Japan, it was in the top 2 places in terms of the number of people murdered by a female. In general, there is no precedent for a female serial killer like her. Until the murderous monster known as the Highway Lady of Death appeared in America, it was even said that women couldn't be serial killers. Of course, she was the first of her kind in Japan. And she was the first person ever to be recognized as suffering from DID in the history of criminal trials in Japan. Before that court precedent was made, there had been several criminals suspected of having DID. However, there were no cases of trial acquittals by reason of DID until then. The reason was simple. The very existence of dissociative identity disorder had been disputed. The opinions of those in the field of psychiatry are still divided. That's why even if brought into consideration during sentencing, it was never used as a reason for a pardon. The past precedent was rewritten, and because of Inibushi Kaiko, for the first time DID became a valid reason for application of Article 39 of the Penal Code. There are various reasons that she was acknowledged as suffering from DID, but the biggest one is said to have been the DSM-VI. DSM-6, maybe? What does that mean? DSM. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, a handbook of diagnostic criteria for mental disorders, published by the American Psychiatric Association. The title is followed by its revision number. Published editions so far include the DSM-1, DSM-3, or DSM-2. DSM-1 is 52, DSM-2 is 68, DSM-3 is 80, DSM-3R is 87, DSM-4 is 94. The manual is, so to speak, a simplified guide to the diagnosis of mental illness. Okay, so what about number 5? This one says number 6. The DSM-6 had been published a few years earlier. The latest revision has been issued in 2008. In the 1994 edition of the DSM-4, criteria for a DID diagnosis comprised the following 4 points. Can I click on that? I can't. 2 or more distinct identities and personalities exist. Possess awareness, recognition, and cognition of self and surrounding environment, as well as individual personality characteristics. 2. These identities have at least 2 distinct personalities continuously show individual behavior and conduct. 3. Important personal information cannot be recalled, and this by extension cannot be explained with normal forgetfulness. 4. These symptoms are not directly due to the influence of psychological effects of drugs, for example memory loss or violent behavior due to disorientation from alcohol poisoning, or a result of other general abnormal conditions. If these 4 criteria are fulfilled, the condition is recognized as dissociative identity disorder. However, even with the establishment of the 4 criteria above, they couldn't completely rule out is that meant to be a typo? Rule out malingers. If 2 or more personalities could be perfectly acted out, it would be acknowledged as a case of DID. There have also been those who have tried to exploit the crimes through misuse of psychotropic drugs. As a result, the 2008 edition of DSM-6 included the following appended criterion. 5. The above symptoms appear even while under induced hypnosis. In other words, if a different personality arose even during hypnosis, a condition in which the patient is unable to act, they'll acknowledge it as DID. The addition of this guideline had an influence on the skeptical field of Japanese psychology. In Japan, it became accepted that a person was suffering from DID if the above 5 items were filled. Inibushi Kaiko had undergone an examination on hypnosis in accordance with the DSM-6 standard and was confirmed to have DID. That was acknowledged as evidence in court, and Ibushi Kaiko was acquitted as a person suffering from an unsound mind. Yep, I remember it pretty well in that case. I was impressed with myself for being able to clearly remember every detail they taught us in class. Well, it's a topic that I like, though, so it's only natural that I remember it. I'm interested in human society, that's why I decided to study criminal psychology. People are mysterious. They have the intelligence to make space travel a reality, and say something like, "I'm a seagull," to express that feeling. Even so, they continue the stupidity that is war, and have tempers short enough to enable them to kill someone at a blind range. They can experience deep love as well as murder the innocent. Inside a frail body that possesses neither claws nor fangs, humans are filled with chaos. Men of adventurous hearts searching for glory by traveling to the depths of the ocean and the cosmos. My interest lies in the abyss of the human heart, and while studying criminology and criminal psychology, what attracted my interest the most was Ibushi Kaiko. I turned to the next page of the file. Ibushi Kaiko is a dissociative identity disorder. Maybe I should review the case one more time. I remember it. Well, I guess I don't really need to. The first Ibushi Kaiko's DID was thought to have stemmed from early childhood abuse. With that in mind, a thorough investigation was done by the leading psychologist. However, because Ibushi Kaiko's mother was already deceased, there was no way to confirm the occurrence of childhood abuse as definite. But in addition to her DID, due to confirmation that she was suffering from borderline personality disorder, as well as her fragmented testimony, it was widely assumed that she had been the victim of childhood abuse. What's borderline one? Alias, ambulatory schizophrenia, pre-schizophrenia, schizotypal disorder. For a patient to be diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, they must display symptoms matching 5 or more of the following criteria: inability to distinguish fantasy from reality, a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships, identity disturbance markedly and persistently unstable, self-images or sense of self, feelings of disconnection from reality, recurrent suicidal behavior, just as threats or self-injury behavior, chronic feelings of emptiness, marked affective instability due to a moderate reactivity of mood, inappropriate anger or difficulty controlling anger, transient stress-related paranoid ideation, delusions or severe dissociative symptoms, frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. Additionally, impulsivity in at least 2 areas that may be self-damaging, including impulsive sending, promiscuous sex, substance abuse, reckless driving, binge eating, or are observed. Borderline personality disorder sufferers, personal relationships, self-image, emotional stability, and particularly indulgence in impulsive acts are heavily influenced and impaired by the disorder, with the onset of symptoms typically occurring during adolescence or young adulthood. Those said to be a severe impairment to normal life, relatively few of the symptoms are detected by most people. It is characterized by fluctuating emotional states and abnormal outbursts by anger or violence. Furthermore, many sufferers show frantic attempts to avoid abandonment. This feeling often manifests itself in the form of self-harm behaviors. Sufferers often report having a foggy mental state, being able to perceive things clearly, or feeling as if they'll go down to pieces, as well as feeling lost and unsure of their own identity. Moreover, many say that this thing of having no self-control is what leads them to start self-injuring. Individuals with borderline personality disorder tend to view the world in black and white, with all people viewed strictly as either enemy or ally. If they think an ally is in danger of leaving them, many individuals become anxious and deliberately harm themselves, or otherwise cause trouble in an effort to get the ally to stay. However, it is important to remember that the individual is not doing these things because they want to, and as with many other similar illnesses of the heart, the behavior does not reflect their true personality. Okay. It was said that Ibushi Kaiko possessed a total of 11 personalities. For the sake of convenience, her alternate personalities have been alphabetized and assigned letters from A to J. Of course, each of her personalities were given proper names, so it seems. I say it seems because those names were not recorded anywhere in the file. However, the doctors had also given her common names for each of those 11 personalities from A to K. This was because when the doctor asked for a name, the dissociative identity disorder would advance, and her condition would deteriorate. In addition to calling them A through K for convenience, the doctors create nicknames which they use like code among themselves. Then I continued to think about these common names. Let's see, aside from original Inabushi Kaiko, which is K, the other 10 from Edit J are widely different from their original in terms of personality. For example, C is a child. The nickname given to him by the doctor was Childhood. This was an innocent but extremely quick to cry 6-year-old boy. D is a melancholy old man. His nickname was Darkness. He tended to shut himself up and would try to hurt himself if you took your eyes off him. F was a woman in her late 20s. Her nickname was For All. Extraordinarily lewd, it seems she even seduced the doctor who was examining her. And then the personality called J. It appears that this one is the personality of the murderous monster. The doctors refer to this shadow side as Jack. Seriously? Oh, it was most likely a trivial reference to Jack the Ripper. Yeah, Danganronpa definitely stole things from this game. Similar to Inabushi Kaiko, a 17-year-old at the time of the incident woman, but possessing strong and destructive urges and sadistic hobbies. In other words, she derived pleasure from the act of murder. According to the file, Jay had appeared while Inabushi was being held in an examination room, when she snatched up a pair of scissors and murdered the doctor. It was also judged that Aozumi's serial murders were committed by Jay. The original personality of Inabushi Kaiko was unable to stop the violence of Jay. Because of this, in accordance with Article 39 of the Criminal Code, Inabushi Kaiko was judged to be of an unsound mind and was pardoned. But whether a personality known as Suzukage Hitori was included as one of the 11 inside Inabushi Kaiko, it's here. The H personality. Girl with a shy and calm character, age 19. She had a fondness from listening to music, so her giving nickname was Hummingbird. Hey, Hitori. Is this the personality of Suzukage Hitori? Of course, there is a possibility that Suzukage Hitori is an unknown 12th personality. In any case, I'm convinced that Hitori is another personality within Inabushi. My reason was Hitori's words. If she wasn't really experiencing DID, she wouldn't use those words, right? Hitori told me herself, didn't she? Cold, dark, locked up, all alone. Red room, enter. Those are perfectly consistent with the feelings expressed by other people with DID. I remembered Hitori's face, unable to even conceive of such a thing as killing 12 innocent people, a girl wearing a worried smile. There's no mistake, Hitori's another personality of Inabushi Kaiko. I was convinced. At the same time, I feel like I had more focus than clear. I had to focus more clearly. I can't confirm anything besides Hitori condition yet, but if she's another DID personality, then behind her lurks Inabushi Kaiko, personality of a murderous monster. I have to be careful. Muttering that as though to convince myself, I closed the file. Okay, so if I'd reviewed it, it would have done an extra 7%. Sure, reading that enthusiastically. Yamagi was standing in front of me holding a cup with something steaming inside. So how about lighting a fire with some piping hot coffee? Mischievous smile rose to my face as I reached for the cup. I thanked him as I accepted it. Is that about the Aozumi Hospital serial murders? Yes, it started on the culprit. Is it really that interesting? Instantly, Yomogi's expression made a complete change. It seems like he didn't want to chat about such things. Flexter gave a reply. Interesting, you say? No, that's not quite it. Rather, it's more a fascination I have. I was originally a student studying things like this, after all. Is that so? And that file could have possibly yours? Yes. I see, so that's why somehow that was. Yomogi lit up a cigarette as he sat up next to me. Blowing out smoke with a face that looked like he was enjoying the flavor, Yomogi flowed the rising tobacco smoke with his eyes. I took a sip of coffee. Because I had been absorbed in looking at the file, it seemed like my body had gotten colder. The hot coffee spread warm through my stomach. Whoops. Yomogi started talking again all of a sudden. Hey, can I ask you something? The culprit, what kind of person were they? Are you interested too, Yomogi-san? Well, how do I say this? It's out of curiosity. Was he being a little inarticulate, or was it just my imagination? They really shook up society in a big way after all. Even someone who's only interested in mountains like me would have a small interest in it. It was a minor, and on top of that, one with a mental illness, so the details were all covered up. They didn't even tell us anything about the victims. Or so I heard. What kind of person was the culprit? Yomogi quiet, keeping his eyes on the stove. How should I answer? My seminar teacher had given me this file as a favor. Normally the contents of documents like this were confidential. I was hesitating over whether to reveal the more detailed content or not, so I decided to only talk about the parts that I thought it would be okay to reveal. The culprit seemed to have multiple personalities, that's why the Yukidoh...
I already know that.
Yurugi spoke in an unexpectedly forceful tone.
What I want to know is how do I say this? Was that person evil or something like that? After killing 12 people, the person's life is now protected. Were they really worth of being protected by the law?
That's... what's he trying to say?
Wait, my question doesn't have any deep meaning.
Yurugi may have felt that he was confusing me as well, as he hesitated and then shrugged his shoulders. Tossing his cigarette into the stove, he lowered his voice and continued.
We just saw the remains of 27 people, right? I just felt a little nervous.
Yurugi scratched his head embarrassedly. Certainly seeing that crash site would be enough to make you think deeply about life. It can change how a person views life and death. I became a bit confused as well. Yurugi may have seemed calm at the time, but he may have only been desperately trying to bear it. While flipping through the file quickly, I had to decide how to reply to Yurugi. Give an evasive answer. Able to sense the unusual air about Yurugi, I couldn't give my honest opinion. I think the law acts as a deterring force. It's not as if it exists to protect the criminal, and it doesn't exist as a way to fuel the victim's need for revenge. It has to function as a way to cut the chain of hatred. It may be a necessary evil. My method of evading the answer was too plain.
Hearing my answer, Yurugi tilted his head a little. A common opinion, huh? You're a student after all.
And answered thus. I'm sorry.
I'm not criticizing you or anything. Well, I get what you're trying to say.
Really no.
Now then, looks like the fire's gotten weaker.
After standing up, he gave a big stretch. The stove's flame had lost its vigor. It needed to be replenished with firewood from the basement.
Oh, that's right, Yukidoh couldn't seem to have said something that he's in his voice recorder. Maybe it was a message for you. Not knowing what your other personality is doing, the idea is pretty tough, huh?
Leaving his words mixed with the side, Yurugi descended into the basement. I wonder what's wrong with Yurugi-san. Yurugi's back looked a little lonely as he climbed down the ladder. Once you're in your 30s, you probably have a lot to think about. I can't just sit here. I'm gonna listen to the message. I have to listen to the message from Satoru. Did he find an answer that could help resolve his phenomenon? Groping in my pocket, I searched for my voice recorder. Hey!
Hey, Mizumi!
Yurugi's loud voice rang from the basement.
Help me out a bit.
Mizumi had curled up on the bed and made an openly reluctant face. Why me?
Just come on, I'm begging you.
You can just ask that woman over there, can't you? She glared in my direction. I panicked and stood up. It seemed I should try to help Yurugi-san. Thinking that, I tried calling down to the basement. From the stairs that led to the basement, Yurugi's head popped up. I lifted the firewood up and laid it on the floor.
Ugh, it's fine now.
It looks like he managed to finish up himself.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice.
I'm sorry, I didn't notice.
It's fine.
Yurugi laughed gently. Regaining myself, I took out the VR. There were 2 new data entries. First, I played data 1.
It's me, Satoru. I heard from Uni. Seems you went to the crash site, huh? I'm kind of awkward, so I don't know what to say at times like this. Just one thing. Cocoro, I want you to think about what the meaning of you is of you being alive right now. You can't get back the lives of those who are lost. There's nothing you can do about things that have already come to pass. But at least you're still alive. There must be some meaning to the fact that you have survived. That's what I think. That's why I want you to just think about what you can do now. This is you we're talking about after all. You're a smart person. You understand what I'm saying, right? Cocoro, try not to lose heart. You're not alone. I'm always next to you. We may not be able to make direct contact, but it's like you and I share one body and one heart, so think of me as being right next to you and be at ease. Bye then. That one ended there. Somehow I kind of felt embarrassed. And more than that, happy. Satoru was worrying about me. Knowing that I went to the crash site and was feeling down, he tried to cheer me up. I want you to think about what the meaning is of you being alive right now. That's what Satoru had said. I survived, and I'm still alive now. That's why as long as I'm alive, I'm gonna give my all to live. Even if I don't understand the reason why. Continuing, I played Data 2.
However, why did he purposely divide the message into two parts? Once again, my voice falls out. Cocoro, there's something I forgot to mention, so please listen. You probably won't believe me right away, but this is what you're thinking right now, right, Cocoro? That this is the year 2011, but that's not true. In the world you're in right now, it's 1 year later, the year 2012. What? If you don't believe me, you can ask the people around you. But this is an undeniable fact. I'd like for you to accept it as it is. That's why about uni. Huh? What? Huh? What about me? That's who ended. It ends there. I was surprised and shocked at the same time. The world I'm in now is the year 2012? What's he saying? Today is January 13th, 2011. On New Year's Day of the year, I received a New Year's card that read Happy 2011 written on it, along with an illustration of the rabbit of the Chinese zodiac. Why had he made such a simple misunderstanding? If you don't believe me, you can ask the people around you. That's what he told me. If you're gonna say something like that, then I will ask. Probably means the other world. I tried asking while looking over the three men. Everyone... All three focused their gazes on me. This is an abrupt question, but what year is it right now? At once, three faces shifted to an expression that seemed to say, huh? Hey, what's up all of a sudden? Have you finally lost the last of your marbles? Uni blinked in surprise. Don't worry about it, just answer. It's 2011. He looked at me, assuming he was wrapped in a blanket. Yeah, it's the year 2011, obviously. I looked at the Uni. It's the year 2011. I was satisfied with the answer. This proved that this year was the year 2011. I thought Satoru must have misunderstood something. I don't know how the misunderstanding occurred, but that should clear it up. I went to the basement to record my message. Three of them wordlessly stared at me in blank amazement. I took the VR out of my pocket. This is Cocoro. I listened to your message. Why did you say this year was the 2012? It's the year 2011. It's not like you to be mistaken. Maybe you should rest for a bit. I asked everyone and they said it's the year 2011 too. I repeat, this is the year 2011, there's no mistaking it. I paused the recording, and after thinking for a while, I pressed the record button once again. P.S. Quit taking out my wristwatch, okay? A wristwatch is called a wristwatch because you wear it on your wrist. Having finally told me about the thing which had been bothering me for a long time, I felt a bit relieved. Smile naturally followed. Returned to the first floor, the three upstairs were eyeing from a distance. They had huddled together, whispering to each other. Perhaps my behaviour was too suspicious for them to overlook. But thinking to myself, this wouldn't be the first time I became defiant. Because of my personality exchange with Satoru, those watching from around us probably think my speech and conduct quite suspicious. Nothing will come of it even if I try to smooth things over now. In order to conserve my strength, I lay down pulling a blanket over my head as I did. I opened my eyes and all of a sudden it had become dark outside. It seems I slept for longer than I thought. Everyone was staying quietly in their own location as well. Looks like nothing out of the ordinary happened. It may be because of my peace of mind, but drowsiness overcame me once again. As I began to doze off. There we go.